Opera Essence, 100% freshly squeezed opera juice, is an opera a colori podcast giving you everything you need to know to help you enjoy the world's finest operas. In this episode, we explore the plot of Aida by Giuseppe Verdi. Act 1. It's the age of the pharaohs, and in the middle of the night, within the Memphis palace walls, the high priest Ramphis has met with the captain of the guards, Radames, and tells him of great danger that is to befall the kingdom of Egypt. The Ethiopians are threatening to invade the Nile Valley and make their way up to Thebes. He adds that soon the goddess Isis will disclose the name of the commander who is to lead the army into war. The hostility between the two peoples has been going on for many years, so much so that many Ethiopians transported to Egypt live along the Nile as slaves. Among them is the princess Aida, the daughter of the terrible king Amonasro, who is now at the service of Amneris, the only daughter of the pharaoh. Radames, now alone, prays to be chosen and to return to his homeland crowned in glory after defeating the enemy. As well as the desire to fight, another sentiment rouses in his heart, the love he has for the beautiful Aida, who loves him in return. Amneris arrives on the scene. She too is in love with Radames, but not aware of the feelings he and Aida have for each other, and is determined to win the heart of the valiant captain. When Aida appears, all is made clear to Amneris after she catches the two lovers exchanging a glance, and she understands the sentiments that unite the Ethiopian slave and Radames. There is no time for her to find out any more, as the king of Egypt, followed by officials, priests and soldiers, burst onto the scene to listen to the announcement from a messenger recently arrived from the border of the kingdom. They learn that the Ethiopians have invaded Egyptian soil. They must move quickly. Ramphis names Radames as the leader chosen by the gods, who, once applauded by the people and appointed by the king, immediately prepares to leave for the front line. Left alone, Aida unleashes all of her desperation. Soon she will see the Ethiopians, led by her father, fight in a bloody battle against the Egyptians, commanded by the man she loves. At the same time, in the temple of Vulcan, the supreme priest Ramphis, accompanied by the priestess's chants, invokes the gods to protect Radames and all of Egypt in the imminent battle. Act 2. The battle between Egypt and Ethiopia is over, and the Egyptians return victorious. In the royal palace of Memphis, Amneris, along with her ladies-in-waiting, is getting ready to receive Radames and the other triumphant warriors. She also intends to discover whether Aida is her love rival for Radames's affection, so she calls for the Ethiopian slave girl to join her under false pretenses in order to examine her sentiments. As soon as Aida arrives, Amneris lies to her, telling her that Radames has died in battle. The slave's reaction is clear. Her look of despair is an evident demonstration of the strong feelings she has for him. Amneris, the princess, now ridden with anger, forces her unhappy rival to witness the Egyptian triumphant march and the parade of Ethiopian prisoners in the square of Memphis. The Egyptian capital is ready for the military victory parade. The people and holy men sing praises, while sacred dances are performed by young girls and priestesses. Radames arrives accompanied by his soldiers. They present their prisoners of war to the king. Disguised among them is Aida's father, Amonasro, king of the Ethiopians. She is shocked to see him in chains, but he begs her not to reveal his true identity, assuring her of his imminent release. The fate of the prisoners is uncertain. Ramphis and his holy men would have them killed, while Radames calls for clemency from the king, who promptly gives in to the young leader's request and declares a further celebratory announcement. As a reward for the valour displayed by him, Radames is promised to the Princess Amneris in marriage. Amidst the praises being chanted by the Egyptian people and the plan of vendetta by the prisoners, Amneris claims victory over her Ethiopian rival and now goes to prepare herself for her marriage to her beloved, oblivious to Aida's unhappiness. Act 3. Night has fallen on the banks of the river Nile, where Amneris, alongside her high priest, beseeches the goddess Isis to protect her as she prepares to wed Radames. Aida, hidden among the palm trees, waits for the crowds to enter the temple and slowly approaches the riverbanks. Here, in this silent place, she has secretly planned to meet Radames, and while she waits for him, she abandons herself to the painful memories of her lost homeland. Along the banks, the figure of a man appears. It is not Radames, but Amonasro. He knows of Radames's desire for Aida and has decided to use this situation to his advantage. The proud Ethiopian sovereign asks Aida to get her lover to disclose to her how the Egyptian army intends to plan for their counterattack. Aida is reluctant and tries to refuse this request. However, the images of destruction and death recounted by her father convince her in the end to go along with the plan. Not long after, Radames arrives, excited for his upcoming military campaign and his love for Aida. She reproaches him for having accepted to marry Amneris, but he quickly confesses his intention to not go through with the wedding as soon as the war is over and escape with her. They renew their vow of love to one another, but before leaving her beloved, Aida, keeping her promise to her father, asks him what his army is planning to do. The young soldier reveals that his soldiers will cross the gorges of Napatha. This is the information that Amonasro was waiting for, and from out of nowhere he appears, threatening Radames that the Egyptian army and Ethiopian troops would have met in that exact location. A desperate Radames realizes that he has betrayed his country, and he gives himself up to the high priest, who is leaving the temple with Amneris, while Aida and Amonasro escape into the dark night, chased by the pharaoh's guards. Act 4. Amneris waits for Radames at the entrance of the prison. He is soon to be prosecuted by the high priests for his betrayal, and the princess wants to tell him that she is willing to intercede in order to free him, as long as he gives up the love he has for Aida. On his arrival, Radames refuses to abandon his feelings and would rather face the consequences of his actions, even if it means death. Amneris, scorned by his refusal, leaves him in the hands of the priests. The judgment from the tribunal does not take long, and Radames is condemned to be buried alive. Alas, the princess's pleas and curses are of no use in her desperate and final attempt to save the man she loves. Radames is led into the cell which will eventually become his grave, where, in the darkness, he sees the form of a woman who moves towards him. It's Aida. Having escaped from the desert, she has heard of the sentence that has been inevitably given to the man she loves, and has decided to hide in his cell to live out the rest of their days together. This discovery fills Radames with despair, as he had hoped that Aida could have saved herself, but he is consoled by her words, and he accepts the idea of renouncing the world with her by his side. While the two lovers, now united until their deaths, await the light of heaven to open in their eyes, Amneris, alone outside the tomb, invokes the gods to give her the strength to carry on living without the man she loved so deeply. Now you're familiar with the storyline, why don't you listen to our 5 Fun Facts podcast to find out more interesting features surrounding this opera? And now, the house lights are dimmed, it's time to enjoy the show. Opera Essence, 100% freshly squeezed opera juice, is an opera a colori production. This episode was written by Tommaso Quanilli, produced by Selena Bellomi and Ivo Rizzi, and presented by Felicity Murphy. Follow us on our social media pages at Opera a Colori.